Alright, so I'm sitting here with Brad Humble, the owner of Dungeon Powerlifting Gym in Bunbury, where I've been training throughout this experiment, and I'd like to discuss some topics such as program design and adherence, training with injuries, and ego lifting. So hopefully Brad can shed some light on these topics and share some of his wisdom and experience in these areas. So, how would you structure a program typically?
Well, the way we structure programs are very different for each individual athlete. As we've mentioned previously when we've spoken, we've got a variety of athletes that attend our gym, right through from your regular weekend sports such as footy, cricket, basketball, to the other end where we have full-time powerlifters, bodybuilders, strongmen and women. So the spectrum changes dramatically depending on the athlete.
After having this conversation with Brad about programming and looking back on it now, I can see how I could have arranged it in a way that was more suited to my goals for powerlifting. For example, with phase 1, I would have better used my energy working on useful accessory exercises that address my weaknesses rather than exacerbate existing ones through poor repetitive patterning. I learnt a lot about what works and what doesn't, as well as what is and what isn't realistic when it comes to volume and intensity. For example, with phase 2, I quickly realised that performing 4 major compound movements for 8 sets of 6 at 75 to 85% is just not feasible. I wasn't even able to keep up, and in the end I ended up experiencing some burnout.
Okay, so for us as competitive powerlifters, I run a 10-week block, which is broken up of obviously primarily around your squat, bench and dead.
Sure.
Not necessarily just those lifts, but how we go about making those lifts as strong as possible using different accessory exercises.
Oh, sure.
So we will work on the overall power, we work on the speed, obviously fast twitch fibers, and we work on the endurance of the muscle group as well, and we rotate them on a triangular basis.
Okay.
In three-week blocks, and then week 10 we have a test week and see how much improvement we've got on our lifters' ability to total a good number.
In my opinion, assistance movements are more important than the competition lifts themselves. As Brad mentioned, he would help to improve his lifter's performance through the use of various assistance exercises. For example, in this benching session, I was doing pause presses at the end of my workout. Holding the isometric contraction forced me to be completely engaged throughout the entirety of the lift. I was in control of the whole process rather than letting gravity do the eccentric path of least resistance. Ideally, you want to be moving fast against gravity and not with it. I was really interested in Brad's approach to programming. He placed a lot of emphasis on goal specificity. This is something which I can improve on with my programming in the future. Alright guys, so that's all we've got time for in this video. I will be continuing this interview with Brad Humble in the next 2 videos, so stay tuned.